the first pick. Now let's send it out to Mike Breen for game 1 of the Eastern.
Might seem like a lifetime ago for some of these Celtic and Heat players, but it was the beginning of their NBA journey. And a journey that has now brought them here tonight in Miami for the 2022 Eastern Conference Finals Game 1 Best of 7 series. As we welcome you to NBA Courtside, presented by Chime. Our brackets, 4 teams left hoping to grab the Larry O'Brien Championship Trophy. The Western Conference Finals featuring the Warriors and the Mavericks. That starts tomorrow night in San Francisco on TNT. And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Eastern Conference Finals. We've got a great matchup between 2 teams that play so well together and 2 teams that love to defend. Unfortunately, 2 teams that are missing key players tonight. Of course, as expected, Miami without Kyle Lowry, he's out with a hamstring. Meanwhile, Boston losing 2 key players. With more on that, let's check in with Lisa Salters.
Both Marcus Smart and Al Horford will not play tonight, Mike. Al Horford is in health and safety protocols. The Celtics didn't find out that he would not be available until just about 3 hours ago. Robert Williams will be starting tonight in his place. Marcus Smart was questionable leading up to this game 1, but has now been ruled out because of a mid-foot sprain. He apparently landed awkwardly on his right foot towards the end of game 7 against the Bucks on Sunday. An MRI showed no ligament damage, but there has been some swelling and soreness, enough to affect Smart's movement on the court. So because Smart hasn't been able to make all of his basketball moves, the Celtics are holding him out tonight, and Derek White, who started for Smart in game 2 of the Bucks series, will get the call again tonight. Mike?
All right, Lisa, now joined by Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy. Obviously a huge loss for the Boston Celtics. Mark, how do they compensate?
It's simple. Your best players. That's the way you compensate anytime you're short talent on a basketball team. Too much is given, much is required, and that points the finger to Jason Tatum, taking the pressure off everybody else by making plays, not as a scorer necessarily, but as a playmaker. Look to get guys involved early, put guys in position to catch the basketball and knock down open shots. Take the pressure off of them because you're great from being great. And then take the challenge defensively. Eliminate the best player on the opposing team, which tonight is Jimmy Butler. Inspired, contest, multiple effort, and then everybody else embrace the challenge. But you have to have that mentality as the best player on the floor that you're going to be the best on both sides of the court. And look at his numbers. He's a difference maker in wins and losses. He's stellar offensively and across the board in wins. He's got to give that type of effort, and that type of effort has to be contagious tonight, Coach.
And it has to be contagious to Jaylen Brown, who's coming off a terrific series against Milwaukee. But even more importantly, Robert Williams and Derek White both coming into the starting lineup once again. Robert Williams has been a terrific defensive anchor. You look at the numbers there, very, very good and very solid, very active. And Derek White, even though his shooting has ebbed and flowed, he is a smart basketball player who is big and long and a good defender. He can play long minutes, big minutes, and do it at a high level.
Meanwhile, for the Heat, Kyle Lowry's going to miss his 7th game of the playoffs, but they've weathered that storm. They're 6-0 without him. One of the reasons they've been able to survive without their point guard is the play of Jimmy Butler. He's been spectacular.
Well, he's even been better in the playoffs than he was in the regular season, and that is so difficult to do. And one of the reasons is he's willing now to take his set shot 3. He's shooting it more often and a better percentage. He's always been very good in the isolation game, either making mid-range shots or getting to the free throw line. But where he and this team stands out is defensively. He has been stellar at that end. And look at those numbers. The jump he has made, Mark, in the playoffs, you don't see that very often.
Oh, he's been incredible. Give him a lot of credit, but you know what else has been incredible? Miami Heat on the defensive side of the basketball, individually and collectively, have been truly inspiring. Put them in position to be on the verge of a championship experience because of their challenge that they embrace individually and collectively. Look, whether it's Joel Embiid, whether it's Trae Young, whether it's James Harden, it does not matter. And they don't put the onus on one guy to stop them. They take pride in doing it as a group. And when you do it as a group, great things happen because you create havoc and then you can get it going on the offensive end. They are a game changer on the defensive end. Look at the numbers. In the playoffs alone, across the board, top 5, they are flat out getting it done, Mike.
What a matchup of two great defensive teams here in the conference finals. And these two men in the conference finals 2 years ago, that was in the bubble in Orlando. The Heat won in 6 games. But if you remember, there were no fans down at Disney World. There'll be a sellout crowd tonight at the Heat's arena, the FTX Arena, as the Eastern Conference Finals gets underway. Tip-off coming up shortly.
Out of the south, then we back to the east. But then his house said he wanted to leave. 300 days and it still ain't no sleep. Inside and outside was 90 degrees. All of the heathens, they let us some freaks. We got the heat.
NBA Courtside on ESPN is presented by Chime.